Welcome. This is Kareem on the stream, and I'm here with my good brother Naim Freeman of Iron Crown Productions.
That's what it is.
All right, good seeing you, brother. Good seeing you, peace. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
And a little bit about me, a writer, director, pretty much producer. We do most of our shooting here, right here in Iron Crown Studio.
Studio Y in Baltimore.
Studio Y, yeah. So you know it. Right now on Stream DMV, we got Dad Gang and season 1 of Black Therapy. So yeah, that's kind of what's going to be on there for that first round.
So before we get into talk about Dad Gang and Black Therapy, which is going to be on Stream DMV coming up really soon, I know that Iron Crown Production has a real rich history of film production here in Baltimore and also visual production here in Baltimore. So why is it so important for us to shoot here in the DMV and in the Baltimore area? Why not just go to Atlanta? Why not just go to LA? Shout out to Atlanta, which is like a black mecca, but why is it important to really establish our film production and art scene here in the DMV?
I think the most important aspect of independent filmmaking right now is the fact that you can do it anywhere. Atlanta has built up their market, and it's going to continue to grow. But everyone can't go to Atlanta. Everyone can't go to Hollywood. Everyone.
Yeah, they say Atlanta's full.
Yes,
now, so,
yes,
yeah.
and I believe it's full.
Yeah, it is.
But the biggest resource is people. The connections with the people that you know. You have phenomenal actors in the DMV. I mean, they go to Atlanta, they go to Hollywood, they go to New York, and they do well. But to gather the people within your community and make film projects around your community, I think that's the best way to do your filmmaking now. You could see how Detroit, some of the other Midwest cities have, they blew their cities up just like Atlanta has. And it's basically because everyone has access to their own audience. Now the audience could be DMV. It's pretty big. It's broad. I mean, you got Virginia, you got DC, Baltimore. I mean, you pushing all the way up to Delaware and Philly, really, because a lot of people have worked with us from Philly and Delaware. So I think it's the perfect opportunity. It's ours, So
absolutely. Black ownership.
Yes, that too. It's no gatekeepers. So the main thing is. If you want to go to Atlanta, cool. I always tell people if they go somewhere, be called to go there. Because you'll just stand in line like everyone else when you get there. But if someone's saying, hey, come to Atlanta, I got this thing for you, or come to New York, I got this thing for you, Hollywood, whatever, that's how you should move. You should move where you're invited to, because you'll get there and you'll have to establish all the relationships and everything like everyone else. But here you got the relationships, you know the people, you know your area. So it's just best to just plant, where you want to be,
And speaking of relationships, I know in your films that we have here on Stream DMV that you talk about a lot of different issues, especially in Dad Gang, about relationships, about mental health, about other things that families go through every day. So could you share a little bit more with us about that?
Yeah, so Dad Gang was my first film that I've written and produced by myself. I shot 7 prior to that, but this was the first one that I had wrote. And I wanted to be more truthful. Of course, as I had got older, it was a lot of things that I wanted to discuss that weren't being put out about black men. I felt like black men weren't being portrayed honestly. Like it was just like either we're violent or we all different types of just one thing,
but not like a full emotional depth and breadth, right?
So, and I wanted to show a peer group, like friends in their 30s or early 40s that a different family dynamic also with one of the fathers dealing with his daughter being LGBT. I don't know how
LGBTQ community.
Yeah. So and how fathers deal with that. Also how we just deal with each other, with our issues, our health, our well-being as men. So that was like just an honest film, I believe, that I did. And I really didn't think it would be as successful as it was because I kind of figured that people wanted more, violence and sex is like what they were used to. But moving into the realm where I was being truthful, a lot of people just gravitated to it. To this date, it's the best project I've done.
Absolutely. You know, I saw you had like over 500,000 views online.
Yeah, we went straight to YouTube, being as though the pandemic hit. We couldn't continue to do screenings just because of the pandemic. So we had to build an audience with it, and we went to YouTube with it. And it took off on YouTube, and it kind of built everything else where I knew I could go in this direction where we could be honest and have real discussions about mental health, overall well-being, things like that. So that's kind of the world I dwell in all the way around as far as the filmmaking goes. So, yeah.
And I know you also have Black Therapy, where you talk a lot about relationships,
yes,
Black mental health,
yes,
and things like that. I know mental health, especially after the pandemic, been a real issue all around the country, but especially in Black communities where we were adversely affected by it. So how do you address all those different layers and issues that are within the Black community and wrap it up in therapy, which still it really is a taboo issue?
Yeah, so I wanted to also just bring attention to the Black community's way of dealing with their stress factors. Like, therapy as a whole, and, it's not something that's, I don't know, I can't say it's not mainstream in the Black communities, but it's just, I know when I was coming up, nobody was talking about like the family going to get therapy for any of the traumas that we were going through. And you just have to think about it. Like, I mean, if you're looking on the news and you're seeing somebody's child get murdered, I mean, you don't think those people need some type of counseling after that? And if it's 300 people a year and you just see this, and that's just the people that's dying. That's not the people that's just getting shot and the post-traumatic stress disorders that they have from just being out there, and
their family, their friends, classmates, all that.
Yes, it's a lot that goes on. And when you're a young Black male, you're kind of taught that that's just part of it. Like, if you're in the streets, that's the game. That's, you know what I mean? You just absorb the pain and whatever's going on in your life until you just get to a point where you actually break. And most people were breaking. So that's why Dad Gang was like where most people were breaking at, like in their 30s and in their early 40s, where they were having those mental breakdowns. Because how much trauma can you live with, throughout your whole life? And most people can't live, entirely throughout their life. So
especially Black men.
Especially Black men. Yeah. And I wanted to use the word in Black therapy so that even when you come for the storytelling, because it's not about sitting in the office and people talking, it's a story. It's a connecting story. It's stories that have plots to it. It's about our lives. It's not just therapy, but I wanted to use Black therapy as the wording that no matter what you just watch, if you're conversating with your friends and you say, I just watched this show, it's called Black Therapy, the actual words start to move around.
Yeah.
Not
becomes
just
like a culture.
It becomes a culture. It's part of culture. So now you can't just watch it without saying Black therapy and dealing with the actual aspect of those words.
So on that topic, what advice would you give to a Black man that may be contemplating going to therapy, but might have some hesitation because of stigma, what community will say, things like that? What are just some advice you would give?
I'm pro. I had just had a conversation with my son about going to therapy. He's 20, he's 21. Because your parents, nobody has the answers. We're not professionals. Like, you can't sit down and talk with your friends about what you're going through and then that be it. Because it's some things you're not going to share with them. And they're not the professionals that can pull out what, needs to come out of you to start working on it. But the main thing for me is if you're just thinking about it, then go. Like, if there's, and even if you're not thinking about it, I believe it's just something that you should just exercise just like you would go to the gym. Like, get your brain, get your health up here together. I mean, if you're just a person that just works and goes through life and you want to just have tools to deal with things that happen, in your life. And then understanding yourself. Because it took me a while just to know who I was. Like, I mean, I didn't know who I was for years. And you think you got this persona built up. And then when it starts to fracture, that's when people start to have mental health breakdowns because they don't know who they are. And you just need the tools. And I think that's what going to a therapist or a counselor or someone like that would help. You know?
And Black Therapy is a tool also, as just a film and a visual. Dad Gang, all those things are great tools. So thank you so much.
Okay.
I just want to, just before we wrap it up, this is a very important conversation, so I appreciate it. How can people find out more about Black Therapy, about Dad Gang? I know we can go to Stream DMV, definitely.
Yes,
but how are some other ways that they can get in touch with you?
But yeah, so you mentioned the one, Stream DMV is going to be one of them, but also Iron Crown Productions, website, YouTube, Iron Crown PROD on Instagram, Iron Crown on Facebook, anything Iron Crown, you know. So it's kind of what where you can find me, and you also can find information about everything that we're doing, because I actually post the things. I'm also creative director for Stream DMV, so that's also where I'm at too.
Excellent. Stream DMV, Stream DMV.
Stream DMV, yeah.
Yeah. So I know it's been a serious topic, but we know that Dad Gang, these other shows are really entertaining and they're important. Come to Stream DMV. You're with Kareem in the stream. Thank you so much for today. Thank you very much, Naim. All right, peace.
That's what it is.